Welcome to another installment of Reverend Jeff's Monster Info. This episode features the Shunka Warakin from Montanna, USA. The Shunka Warakin is unknown, presumably canine-like creature reported throughout the northern United States, including Montana, Illinois, Nebraska, and Iowa. Often described by eyewitnesses as being a primitive wolf or hyena-like creature, the Ioway and several other Native American Indian tribes in the region called the creature Shunka Warakin, which translates into carrying off dogs because it would often sneak into Indian camps at night to steal their dogs. The first documented sightings of the Shunka Warakin by white settlers began in the 1880s when members of the Hutchins family settled down in the Madison River Valley and the lower part of Montana. Not long after the Hutchins settled into the area, along with several other locals, began to encounter a strange wolf-like animal. In his book, Trails to Nature's Mysteries, The Life and Working Naturalist, published in 1997, Ross Hutchins wrote the following descriptions of some encounters that his grandfather had with the Shunka Warakin. One winter morning, my grandfather was aroused by barking of dogs. He discovered that a wolf-like beast of dark color was chasing my grandmother's geese. He fired his gun at the animal but missed. It ran off down the river. But several mornings later, it was seen again at about dawn. It was seen several more times at the home ranch, as well as other ranches 10 or 15 miles down the valley. Whatever it was a great traveler. Those who got a good look at the beast described it as being nearly black and having high shoulders and a back that sloped downward like a hyena. Then one morning in late January, my grandfather was alerted by the dogs, and this time he was able to kill it. Just what was the animal is still an open question. After being killed, it was donated to a man named Sherwood, who kept a combination grocery and museum at Henry Lake in Idaho. It was mounted and displayed there for many years. He called it the Ringdocus. The youngest Hutchins, who had a PhD in zoology, examined the beast and had no idea what the animal was. He speculated that it may have been a hyena that escaped the circus. However, he did note that the nearest circus was hundreds of miles away. Over many years, the Hutchins story was all but forgotten. That is, until cryptozoologist Mark A. Hall uncovered the story after a creature or a group of creatures resembling the Shunka Warakin were sighted in Nebraska, Iowa, Alberta, and Illinois. Mr. Hall also uncovered that a photograph of the mounted hyena-like animal, or the so-called Ringdocus, originally shot by Ross Hutchins' grandfather, existed. However, its whereabouts remain unknown. In 1995, following the discovery by Mark A. Hall, Lance Foster, an Ioway Indian, told renowned cryptozoologist Loren Coleman of a creature he and his tribe called the Shunka Warakin that looked something like a hyena and cried like a person when it was killed. Foster, who heard of the mounted Ringdocus carcass, speculated that it may be an example of the Shunka Warakin, which he knew from his own experiences and those of relatives in Montana and Idaho. In December 2005, a strange wolf-like animal began killing livestock in the Macomb, Garfield, and Dawson counties of Montana. By October of 2006, the animal, now known as the Creature of Macomb County, had killed more than 120 various forms of livestock and appeared in several news articles, including one in the May 2006 issue of USA Today. On November 2nd, 2006, the Montana Wildlife Service shot and killed a creature that may have been responsible for these killings. Originally thought to be a wolf, the animal that was shot showed characteristics that were not common with any wolf species known in the area. The animal that was killed appeared to have orange, red, and yellow fur, whereas wolves were known in the area to be gray, black, and brown colored. Muscle tissue was sent to the University of California, Los Angeles, where DNA samples were taken in an attempt to compare with the Northern Rockies wolf. The carcass was sent to the National Fish and Wildlife Forensics Laboratory in Ashland, Oregon for genetic study. However, no record of the results of these studies could be found to this day. One theory suggests that the Shunka Warakin may be a form of prehistoric mammal called the Borophagus, an ancient hyena-like canine known to inhabit North America more than 13,000 years ago during the Pleistocene era. A later theory, which could only explain the 2005 and 2006 encounters, is that the creature shot in Montana was genetically altered and raised in captivity, only later to escape its captors. The truth is, we may never know what the Shunka Warakin is, or was. All we can do is wait for the test results of the creature shot in Montana, and if those results showed to be significantly accepted animal, we are left to speculate in every sighting of the Shunka Warakin is just a misidentification of an established creature. Is there a giant-like wolf creature roaming the hills and forests of Montana today? We see pictures of dire wolves bigger than a man. Are they just misidentifications, or is there something even bigger out there? Someday, we may find out the hard way. Thanks for watching. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you.